Gold to the moon. So let me get this tube filled first. I'm not big on giving price predictions for precious metals because my short-term outlook and my long-term outlook don't always line up. And if I was giving those predictions, you probably shouldn't be listening to me anyway because I'm not qualified, but that doesn't stop other people. So what I'll say is that when people give long-term predictions or overly hopeful guesses, new retailer investors can get the wrong idea, they can come in at the wrong time, and they can get wrecked over the short term. The silver squeeze hype is a really good example of this. Now, who knows where the price of silver is going to go off into the future, but the hype there encourages people to dive in right now before they've learned to swim. And in the case of those organized buys, it's more like cliff diving, right into the rocks. And if we're going to keep using this analogy, I think retail investors should learn to swim first and dive into an open lane, or maybe just wade into the water. And that's because of short-term risk. Now, that's not me being overly cautious, it's just based on reality. We can see how the silver squeezes have performed if we want to look at the data. And if you don't know, those silver squeezes have not performed well. Again, that's just in the data, that's reality. The problem though with most people's predictions on precious metals is just in their delivery. A lot of people want to promote those predictions as if it's happening right around the corner. But then when it doesn't come to pass, they don't feel like they're wrong. They feel like it just hasn't happened yet. And that's the part that I don't like. So I come off as pretty neutral here, even though my long-term outlook is actually very positive. At the end of last year, it looked like the price of precious metals could consolidate down over the short term, and it did. We saw 70% drops in the spot price of gold off of the all-time highs from August. But even as I was saying that I expected a correction, I was always bullish on the long-term price of gold. And that's not based on short-term shenanigans like the squeeze, but from the long-term environment for hard assets. So anyway, I don't like to give price predictions because it feels like I'm saying two different things. Anyone's prediction is just talk anyway. Talk is cheap. You can see what I'm buying, and I've been doing that with an overall bullish attitude. I'm planning for appreciating gold prices. That's over time, even though I think that corrections over the short term are probably likely. The most important thing to consider is your own timeline. I don't always give mine here, but for me, there's really no planned event that I'll need to sell for coming up in, say, the next 20 years. But if I had a 12-month timeline that I was planning to exit from, then I wouldn't be operating like I am. We might hit the proverbial moon in 20 years, but I don't plan for it happening in the next 12 months. And I definitely don't actively promote that moonshot because of it. And there's just not enough information to even guess at what's going to happen 20 years from now. Even next year is a bit of a roll of the dice right now. I can see scenarios for price runs and I can see scenarios for price drops. So I buy monthly because this is really good for either situation, whether the price goes up or if it goes down. If it takes off, I've already built up some coin, and if it consolidates down, well then I get to buy it at a discount knowing that I don't plan to sell in that time frame. Now if you're a young investor and you have that 12-month exit in mind, well I'd still say that I wouldn't be concerned about a potential correction. What I've found over the years is that precious metals are a hell of a savings model. There's a draw to metals that just has you wanting to buy them constantly. So in other words, it makes you want to save, and that means that you waste less on other things. So even if you aren't pulling down huge gains in a premature sale 12 months out from when you buy something, it's pretty likely that you're working with capital that you would have wasted on depreciating junk instead. Really the only thing here that you need to worry about is getting caught up in those wild predictions, because the person giving it, telling you that the moonshot is right around the corner, they might actually be like me. They might not need to sell in the next 20 years. So if the moonshot doesn't happen, well, they've got 20 more years where maybe it will. So that timing is really important. Those rocks that I was talking about earlier, that's mostly about timing. Now, if you buy in a coordinated raid When premiums are high, rather than scouting for deals on premium or dips in spot price, then you're basically throwing away that money. Just keep that part in mind. Now, I don't need a moonshot to happen at all because there are very clear benefits to owning gold and silver without it. It's a fantastic savings model. It's interesting, it's fun, you build up a lot of value with it. It's also a great thing to have in an emergency. And if you want to hear more on that topic, I did a whole video on using gold for a start over fund. I'll drop a link in the description. Now, none of what I'm saying here is me trying to tell you that gold or silver is not going to make a breakout run. I don't know that it'll be a moonshot, but I expect at some point we will see a run. And it's always best if you already have some of that metal in advance of it, rather than trying to grab it all in its run up. So if you can get a hold of it over time and never go crazy when premiums are out of control, you're just better off for it. And that's really why I fired this channel up in the first place. I think there are big benefits to accumulating metals over time, and I think there are really only a few potential pitfalls, most of which I've fallen into personally over the years, so I can spot them a little bit more clearly today. And in this particular video, I really just wanted to make it clear that even though sometimes I wonder if I'm the only person on YouTube talking about the possibility that the price of gold and silver can actually go down too, I'm nothing but positive on its long-term value. That, and I think I just wanted to shuffle around some coins. I'm not doing a very good job at it today. I blame these capsules. 3 to go until this tube is full, by the way. 4 actually, because 1 is a proof. Okay, I'll stop messing with these now. I'm sure it's messing with the focus. What I've been wondering about doing is a Q&A, and it came up again in the comments a couple times last week. I've been wanting to do that for a while. I'm trying to figure out if it has to be live or not because I've been traveling and that makes it difficult. And really, I'm not arrogant enough to think that I have any kind of professional insight here just because I have a YouTube channel, but I know a lot of people have questions about the reasons I'm doing some of the things I am, questions about some of the other things that I tend to have in frame here on the desk, and even some of what it takes just to run a channel like this. And honestly, I think it'd just kind of be fun to say hello live. Anyway, let me know in the comments what you think. Do you think that it does need to be live, or can we take some questions and do a premiere? Also, I'm always curious about your take on the original topic, so let me know how you feel about prices, both short-term and long-term, and anything else you have on your mind. And while you're there, I'll always take that thumbs up. That'll help balance out those thumbs down I seem to be picking up. That all gets the word out, thumbs up and thumbs down. I'd really love to see the sub count hit 20,000. We're getting very close. And I don't know why that number is important, but I feel like it helps with people taking the general message more seriously. And that is a lot of housekeeping, a lot more than I meant for it to be. So thank you for sticking through that all with me. And if you're still here, thank you. I always appreciate your time. Take care.